Match each cloud computing concept to its correct description. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Responsibility for physical data center infrastructure. Cloud provider responsibilities. Scalable, usage-based pricing with no upfront cost. Consumption-based model. Cloud model combining both private and public clouds. Hybrid cloud provides flexibility by using services from more than one public cloud provider. Multi-cloud consumer maintains responsibility for operating systems and applications. IaaS model enables running VMware workloads directly in Azure. Azure VMware solution. Now let's take a moment to explain each one. Starting with cloud provider responsibilities, this refers to the fact that the provider, such as Microsoft Azure, manages the physical infrastructure, data centers, power, and networking, so customers don't have to. Next, the consumption-based model means you only pay for the resources you use. For example, if you run a virtual machine for 3 hours, you're billed for just those 3 hours, which helps optimize costs. Moving on, hybrid cloud combines private and public cloud environments. This allows organizations to keep sensitive workloads on premises while using the public cloud for more flexible, scalable needs. Then we have multi-cloud, which involves using multiple cloud providers like Azure and AWS together. This approach is great for avoiding vendor lock-in or distributing workloads based on performance and availability. With the IaaS model, the consumer takes control of the operating system, apps, and data, while the provider manages the underlying hardware. Think of it like renting a server. You set up what runs on it. Finally, Azure VMware Solution allows businesses to run VMware-based workloads natively in Azure, making it easier to migrate without having to rebuild their virtual infrastructure. Each match highlights how cloud models divide responsibilities, optimize spending, and support flexibility in real-world deployments. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options in the drop-down menus. Adding more virtual machines or containers to distribute a workload is an example of horizontal scaling. Now let's walk through the explanation. Horizontal scaling increases the number of resources to handle greater load. Rather than upgrading a single machine, you're adding more machines to share the workload. This is common in cloud environments where demand can spike unpredictably. For contrast, vertical scaling involves adding power, like more CPU or RAM to a single server, which can eventually hit a limit. Warm booting, on the other hand, is just restarting a system and has nothing to do with scalability. And standardization is about consistency, not expanding capacity. So when you spin up more VMs or containers to meet user traffic, you're practicing horizontal scaling, an essential feature for modern cloud-based applications. What two tools support management in the cloud? Select two answers: A, data center floor plans; B, PowerShell; C, cloud APIs; D, USB provisioning agents. The correct answers are B, PowerShell, and C, cloud API. Now let's go ahead and explain why these answers are correct. PowerShell enables administrators to automate tasks and manage cloud environments directly from the command line. It's widely used in platforms like Microsoft Azure for deploying virtual machines, configuring networks, and managing storage through scripting. Cloud APIs allow developers and engineers to programmatically control resources and services within cloud environments. They enable automation, integration, and remote management of cloud infrastructure through HTTP-based calls. In contrast, data center floor plans relate to the physical layout and hardware in traditional on-premises infrastructure. They're not tools for managing virtual resources in the cloud. USB provisioning agents are used for setting up hardware or bootstrapping devices, not managing cloud environments or resources. That's why the best cloud-native management tools from the list are PowerShell and cloud APIs. In the infrastructure as a service IaaS model, what two responsibilities fall on the customer? Select two answers. A, ensuring data center access controls; B, applying hardware patches; C, configuring security groups and firewalls; D, installing and maintaining the operating system. The correct answers are C, configuring security groups and firewalls, and D, installing and maintaining the operating system. Let's go ahead and explain this clearly. When using the IaaS model, the cloud provider supplies the infrastructure, like virtual machines, networking, and storage, but it's the customer's job to manage everything above that layer. This means installing and maintaining the operating system is a customer responsibility. You're expected to configure, secure, update, and troubleshoot the OS just as if it were running on a physical server you owned. Additionally, configuring security groups and firewalls also falls to the customer. This includes setting network access rules and protecting your services from unauthorized traffic at the virtual network level. Meanwhile, applying hardware patches and ensuring data center access controls are handled by the provider. They maintain the physical servers and the facility where your virtual infrastructure runs. So, in short, IaaS gives flexibility and control, but with that comes responsibility for OS level and network security configuration. Your IT team wants to deploy an application where they control all operating system updates and software patches themselves. What cloud service model should they choose? Select one answer. A, PaaS, B, IaaS, C, SaaS, D, multi-cloud. The correct answer is B, IaaS. Let's now break it down for better understanding. IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service, gives your team complete control over the operating system, middleware, and applications. This means your IT staff is responsible for updating the OS, applying patches, and configuring the software environment as needed. By contrast, PaaS, Platform as a Service, handles the operating system and platform layers for you, so your team would not be able to manage OS updates directly. SaaS, Software as a Service, goes even further. Everything from infrastructure to the application itself is managed by the provider. You simply use the app. Finally, multi-cloud isn't a service model at all. It refers to using multiple cloud vendors to increase flexibility or redundancy. So if full control is what your IT team needs, especially over OS level updates, IaaS is the right model. Match each pillar of Microsoft 365's hybrid work support with a feature or tool that best represents it. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Gives users access to corporate files and resources from any location or device. SharePoint Online adds strong authentication and identity protections for account sign-in. Microsoft Entra MFA enables centralized oversight of devices, apps, and security policies by IT administrators. Microsoft Teams supports real-time communication and teamwork across multiple users and departments. Microsoft Teams enhances employee well-being, continuous learning, and organizational engagement. Microsoft Viva. Now let's go through the explanation. SharePoint Online is the right match for file access because it lets users connect to corporate documents and shared resources from anywhere with internet access. This is key in hybrid work environments. Microsoft Entra IA boosts security by adding extra layers of authentication, such as biometrics or code verification, helping protect sign-ins across devices. Microsoft Intune is the tool that gives IT admins control over mobile devices and apps, enforcing compliance and pushing security settings remotely, perfect for centralized management. Microsoft Teams is the real-time collaboration hub. It allows users to chat, meet, and co-author documents together, making it ideal for teamwork across departments. Microsoft Viva focuses on improving employee experience by offering learning resources, well-being insights, and engagement tools, helping organizations keep hybrid workers connected and thriving. Tools like Excel Desktop, Access Database, and Windows 11 Home Edition are not geared toward hybrid collaboration or enterprise-level centralized management, which is why they remain unused. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Microsoft Teams is built on Microsoft 365 groups and uses Microsoft Entra ID for user authentication and identity management. Let's break that down. Microsoft 365 groups form the core membership and permission structure behind Teams. They allow users to collaborate by automatically provisioning shared resources like mailboxes, calendars, and SharePoint sites when a new team is created. Microsoft Entra ID, formerly known as Azure Active Directory, is the cloud-based identity and access management system. It handles user sign-ins and enforces security measures like multi-factor authentication for accessing Teams and other Microsoft services. Other options like Azure AD refer to the older name of Entra ID, while Active Directory is for on-premises environments. Google Workspace and AWS IAM are unrelated third-party platforms and aren't part of the Teams infrastructure. In summary, Teams relies on Microsoft 365 groups for structure and Entra ID for secure access and identity management. For each Microsoft 365 Copilot capability in OneDrive and SharePoint, drag it to the correct description. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Summarizes files in OneDrive to help users stay updated quickly. Quick file summaries in OneDrive. Extracts and compares key information from multiple documents without opening them. Compare documents. Uses natural language commands to build and update SharePoint pages. Natural language page creation. Employs AI-powered agents to automate workflows and find information. AI-powered workflow automation provides design suggestions to enhance SharePoint page layouts. Design ideas for SharePoint. Helps rewrite SharePoint content to adjust tone and length. Content rewriting assistance. Let's go over what each one means. Quick file summaries in OneDrive. Helps users save time by using Copilot to scan documents and present key points at a glance, so they don't have to read through everything. Compare documents allows users to extract and analyze differences across multiple files without opening each one manually. This speeds up decision-making and content validation. Natural language page creation enables users to type simple commands like create a project overview page, and Copilot builds the structure automatically in SharePoint. AI-powered workflow automation leverages intelligent agents to handle repetitive tasks such as notifications, approvals, or document routing. Design ideas for SharePoint uses AI to analyze layout and suggest improvements that make pages more engaging and visually appealing. Content rewriting assistance improves the quality of text by adjusting its tone, clarity, or brevity, which is essential for making SharePoint pages more readable. The only unused item here is mobile scanning, which is a standalone OneDrive feature not related to Copilot capabilities in SharePoint or OneDrive. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. Dynamics 365 Copilot uses AI to provide recommendations and insights in business workflows. True forms can automatically grade quizzes created using multiple choice questions. Clipchamp is used to analyze customer satisfaction trends over time. False. Power Apps enables citizen developers to create mobile-ready apps using drag-and-drop interfaces. True. Let's explain each one. Dynamics 365 Copilot uses AI and natural language processing to offer business insights, automate tasks, and generate recommendations, helping teams work more efficiently. Microsoft Forms includes built-in auto-grading features, especially for quizzes with multiple choice or predefined answer types, streamlining assessment tasks. Clipchamp is a video editing application, not a tool for analyzing customer feedback. Customer Voice would be the appropriate Microsoft product for tracking satisfaction trends. Power Apps provides a low-code, no-code environment where users, especially non-developers, can build apps using drag-and-drop tools, making it ideal for mobile app development by citizen developers. So 3 of these are true, and only one about Clipchamp is false. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Consumption-based pricing applies to Azure Virtual Desktop, whereas Windows 365 offers a fixed monthly pricing model. Now let's break it down. Consumption-based pricing means you pay only for what you use. This is how Azure Virtual Desktop works. It lets organizations scale virtual desktops up or down based on usage, which can optimize costs for variable workloads. In contrast, Windows 365 provides a fixed monthly pricing model. This means you get predictable billing for each cloud PC, which helps organizations with budgeting and cost management by avoiding fluctuating usage fees. Other services like Microsoft Intune, Microsoft Teams, and Windows Autopatch are not directly involved in pricing models for virtual desktops, which is why they don't apply in this context. So in summary, Azure Virtual Desktop gives flexibility in usage and billing, while Windows 365 delivers simplicity and predictability through flat monthly rates. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. Office 365 and Microsoft 365 offer identical features with no differences. False. Enterprise Mobility Security, EMS, is part of Microsoft 365. True. Microsoft 365 subscriptions are available for nonprofits and educational institutions. True, Office LTSC and Microsoft 365 are cloud-first productivity platforms. False. Let's walk through each one. First, Microsoft 365 includes more than Office 365. While Office 365 focuses mainly on productivity apps like Word, Excel, and Outlook, Microsoft 365 bundles those with Windows OS, Intune, and EMS, providing a more complete solution. Second, EMS is part of Microsoft 365 and adds advanced capabilities like identity and device protection, which supports secure remote work and compliance. Third, Microsoft 365 offers dedicated plans for nonprofits, schools, and educational institutions. These versions are designed to meet the specific budget and feature needs of those groups. Lastly, Office LTSC Long-Term Servicing Channel is a one-time purchase version of Office software. It does not include cloud services and is not considered a cloud-first solution, unlike Microsoft 365, which is fully integrated with the cloud. So in summary, only the second and third statements are true. The first and fourth are false. Arrange the deployment rings in the correct sequence used for rolling out Windows updates. Instruction: drag and drop the items into the correct order, starting with the first group to receive the update at the top. Correct order: preview ring, limited ring, broad ring. Now let's explain this sequence. The rollout process begins with the preview ring, where a select group of users evaluates new features and updates. This group usually consists of IT admins or early adopters who can identify issues early. Once validated, updates move to the limited ring, which includes a small but more diverse user base. This phase helps ensure compatibility across different hardware and software configurations. Finally, after stability and performance are confirmed, the update is rolled out to the broad ring, reaching the majority of users across the organization. This phased approach helps organizations reduce risk and ensures smoother, more controlled deployments. A marketing manager wants to turn campaign ideas into a presentation without starting from scratch. They need layout suggestions and content formatting based on a few bullet points. What's the best approach? Select one answer. A. Use forms and lists. B. Use Word and Editor. C. Use Copilot and PowerPoint. D. Use Teams and Yammer. Correct answer: C. Use Copilot and PowerPoint. Now here's why this is the best option. Copilot in PowerPoint leverages AI to take simple prompts or bullet points and generate a complete presentation. It not only fills out the content, but also applies consistent formatting and offers layout enhancements using PowerPoint Designer, saving time and improving visual appeal. Forms and lists are great for gathering data and organizing information, but they're not designed for presentation creation. Word and Editor are excellent for document writing and text refinement, but they don't specialize in slide generation or visual design. Teams and Yammer are communication platforms, helpful for collaboration, but not built for producing polished presentations. So, when speed, formatting, and visual creativity matter, Copilot and PowerPoint is the clear choice. You need to track user registrations and sign-ins to Microsoft 365. Which tool should you use? Select one answer. A. Microsoft Entra ID activity reports. B. Microsoft 365 usage reports. C. Exchange reports. D. Endpoint Manager reports. Correct answer: A. Microsoft Entra ID activity reports. Let's walk through why this is correct. Microsoft Entra ID activity reports are specifically designed to track identity-related data. This includes user registrations, sign-in activity, authentication methods, and other critical identity and access management metrics. By contrast, Microsoft 365 usage reports are focused on application usage, like how often Teams or OneDrive is used, not identity or sign-in data. Exchange reports are limited to email traffic and mailbox usage, which makes them unsuitable for tracking user identity behavior. Endpoint Manager reports deal with device management, including compliance and health status, but not user registration or sign-in activity. So when your goal is to monitor who is signing in, how often, and how identities are being used, Microsoft Entra ID activity reports is the best tool for the job. What enables Copilot Chat to provide intelligent responses grounded in public data? Select one answer. A. Microsoft Loop Indexing. B. Web grounding through Bing. C. Excel-linked data tables. D. Office template matching. Correct answer: B. Let's clarify why this is the best option. Web grounding through Bing allows Copilot Chat to reference real-time, indexed public web content to enhance the accuracy and relevance of its responses. It ensures that when Copilot provides information, it's tied to up-to-date, verifiable sources available on the internet. The other choices are not designed for public data grounding. Microsoft Loop indexing helps organize collaborative content within a workspace, but does not provide external grounding. Excel-linked data tables are used for computations and structured data analysis, not AI content grounding. So Office template matching aids in slide or document layout, not in sourcing intelligent responses from the web. Therefore, web grounding through Bing is what gives Copilot its power to generate intelligent, context-aware answers using real-world data. An employee wants to continue working on files even without an internet connection and sync all changes once back online. Which OneDrive feature supports this? Select one answer. A. Offline access. B. Mobile scanning. C. Version history. D. Ransomware detection. A. Offline access. Let's explain why this is the correct choice. Offline access allows users to open and edit files stored in OneDrive even when they don't have an internet connection. Once the connection is restored, all changes are automatically synced to the cloud. This ensures productivity without requiring constant connectivity. Mobile scanning is used for digitizing paper documents but doesn't support offline editing. Version history lets users restore older versions of files but doesn't help with editing while offline. Ransomware detection protects your files from malicious encryption, but is unrelated to offline work. So for uninterrupted editing and automatic sync, offline access is the feature that makes it possible. Which feature of SharePoint helps users find people, files, and content quickly? Select one answer. A. Intelligent search and customizable lists. B. Mobile scanning. C. File version history. D. Ransomware detection. Correct answer. A. Intelligent search and customizable lists. Now, let's explain why this is the correct option. SharePoint's Intelligent Search and Customizable Lists feature enables users to efficiently discover and organize content. It uses metadata, filters, and advanced indexing to make people, documents, and sites easier to find, significantly improving productivity. Mobile scanning is a OneDrive feature not related to SharePoint's search capabilities. File version history helps with restoring older versions of a file, not with searching content. Ransomware detection is a OneDrive security measure, not a search tool. So for powerful content discovery and fast access to relevant data, intelligent search and customizable lists is the standout feature in SharePoint. Which of the following features are part of Viva Insights for improving employee well-being? Select two answers. A. Emotional insights for employees to reflect on their mental health. B. Real-time communication with HR about employee concerns. C. Suggestions for well-being activities such as meditation and focus time. D. Automatic scheduling of wellness activities for employees. Correct answers A and C. Let's explain these choices. Viva Insights includes emotional insights to give employees a private space to reflect on their mental and emotional state, which supports self-awareness and mental wellness. It also offers suggestions for well-being activities, such as scheduling focus time or encouraging meditation, which are actionable recommendations to improve overall productivity and wellness. However, real-time communication with HR is not a function of Viva Insights. The tool emphasizes individual insights rather than direct communication features. And while automatic scheduling sounds helpful, Viva Insights does not schedule wellness activities on its own. It only suggests them. So A and C correctly represent features aimed at improving employee well-being in Viva Insights. For each conditional access component, drag it to the correct description. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Controls the who, what, where, and when of the policy. Assignments. Controls how access is granted, blocked, or restricted. Access controls. Evaluates whether access should be allowed after sign-in. Access controls. Includes settings for user device, application, and location. Assignments. Can require extra verification like MFA or password change. Access controls. Combines multiple conditions using logical AND assignments. Now let's explain each of these answers. To begin with, assignments define the scope of conditional access by identifying who the policy applies to, which devices, what applications, and under what conditions. That's why it fits descriptions such as controlling the who, what, where, and when, and including user, device, application, and location settings. Moreover, when conditions are combined using logical and, meaning all must be met for the policy to apply, that also falls under assignments. On the other hand, access controls dictate what happens once those conditions are met. For example, they can require multi-factor authentication, enforce password changes, or block access entirely. That's why access controls are linked to handling access, requiring MFA, and making decisions after sign-in. As noted in the feedback, items like policy templates and baseline security were not used here. That's because policy templates are pre-built suggestions, not core components. And baseline security refers to default Microsoft policies, not customizable ones within conditional access. Match each global secure access dashboard widget to its function. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Displays users and apps secured through the service. Snapshot widget monitors patterns of service usage over time. Usage profiling shows disconnected network links or token misuse. Alerts and notifications displays web content blocked or allowed by policy. Web category filtering shows users or devices accessing external tenants, cross-tenant access. Now let's take a moment to explain each answer clearly. The snapshot widget gives a high-level summary of what's happening across the service, including which users and applications are being secured. It's like your bird's-eye view of traffic activity. Usage profiling, on the other hand, is all about trends. It tracks how the service is being used over time, helping administrators understand behavior across categories and time spans. Next, alerts and notifications are essential for surfacing problems. If there's a network issue, a token misuse, or a mismatch in device credentials, this widget flags it right away. When it comes to filtering web traffic, web category filtering highlights what content is being blocked or allowed based on policies. It helps organizations maintain compliance and control internet access. Finally, cross-tenant access displays activity across Microsoft Entra tenants. It shows who is accessing what across tenant boundaries, a crucial tool for managing external collaboration securely. The unused items here include firewall logs, which are not part of this specific dashboard, and conditional access matrix, which simply doesn't exist in this context. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. B2B collaboration allows external users to access internal resources by authenticating through their own identity provider and joining the workforce tenant of the host organization. Now let's break it down. External users don't need to be issued new credentials. Instead, they authenticate using their own identity provider, which is typically their home organization's authentication system. This preserves trust and security while reducing management overhead. Once authenticated, these users are added to the workforce tenant of the host organization. This is the main tenant through which B2B scenarios are managed and access permissions are controlled. The incorrect options include external tenant. This refers to publishing consumer apps, not enabling internal access. Passwords are not shared across organizational boundaries. Microsoft domain. While Microsoft can be an identity provider, it's not the only one used in B2B setups, so this is too narrow for the context. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Device inventory shows details like OS, domain, and risk level for all active endpoints, while identity inventory lists on-premises and cloud accounts. Let's go over the explanation. Device inventory is responsible for tracking endpoint devices. It gathers details such as the operating system, domain affiliation, and assesses risk level based on vulnerabilities or threat activity. This is crucial for maintaining visibility across all connected endpoints. On the other hand, identity inventory provides insights into user identities, both on-premises and in the cloud. It specifically helps organizations manage accounts, which represent the digital identities of users accessing the system. The incorrect choices like tabs, attachments, licenses, and workbooks are not relevant here since they do not relate to inventory or identity tracking in this context. Fill in the blanks by selecting the correct options from the drop-down menus. Private subject rights requests assist organizations in fulfilling data subject requests, often required by privacy regulations, using automation and workflows. Now, let me explain why these answers are correct. First, subject rights requests are essential tools that help organizations find and retrieve specific user data, which is often stored across various systems. These requests are part of broader data subject requests, which are legal entitlements individuals have under privacy laws such as the GDPR. Next, privacy regulations like GDPR or CCPA mandate that organizations must respond to these requests within a specified timeframe. Therefore, compliance is not optional, but legally enforced. To efficiently meet these legal obligations, organizations rely on automation and workflows. Automation helps minimize manual errors and speeds up the process, while workflows ensure that every step in the request lifecycle is followed consistently. For instance, think about a user requesting access to all their stored personal data. Without automation, this task could take days. With it, it's nearly instant. And workflows make sure no step is skipped. That's how all the correct answers connect to form a compliant, efficient system for handling privacy-related requests. For each statement below, indicate whether the answer is true or false. The Office 365 Management Activity API is only available for Audit Premium tenants. False. Audit Premium offers higher bandwidth access to the Office 365 Management Activity API compared to Audit Standard. True. Exporting audit logs to CSV requires third-party software. False. Microsoft Purview audit logging supports data from both Microsoft and non-Microsoft integrations in Security Copilot. True. Now let's explain why these answers are correct. To begin with, the Office 365 Management Activity API is not exclusive to Audit Premium. It's also available in Audit Standard, although with limited bandwidth. Therefore, saying it is only available for premium tenants is incorrect. Next, Audit Premium indeed provides higher API bandwidth, which makes it more suitable for organizations with large-scale auditing needs. This means more data can be pulled in less time compared to the standard version. Furthermore, exporting audit logs to CSV is a built-in feature in Microsoft Purview. You don't need third-party tools to accomplish this, making the statement about needing extra software false. Finally, Microsoft Purview audit logging does support data ingestion from both Microsoft services and third-party integrations when working with Security Copilot, which makes that statement true. Each of these facts reflects how Microsoft's auditing features scale with tenant capabilities and integration needs. For each statement below, indicate whether it is true or false. Microsoft's control principle allows customers to modify, delete, or access their personal data. True. Microsoft uses customer chat and email content for ad targeting purposes. False. Subprocessors working with Microsoft must follow the same privacy commitments Microsoft makes to customers. True. Microsoft discloses all legal requests it receives for data, even if prohibited by law. False. Now, let's walk through why these are the correct answers. To start with, Microsoft's control principle is all about giving customers full authority over their data. This includes the ability to view, edit, delete, or download it at will, which directly supports transparency and privacy. Next, Microsoft has a strict no-content-based targeting policy. That means they never use email, chat, or file content to target ads, so the idea that they do is false. Also, when it comes to SHA subprocessors, Microsoft requires that any third-party processor involved in data handling adheres to the same stringent privacy and security standards Microsoft promises to its own customers. Lastly, Microsoft does not disclose legal requests for data when it's legally prohibited from doing so. In those cases, the law prevents even acknowledging the request, making the statement false. These privacy principles reflect Microsoft's long-standing commitment to data protection and customer control. For each statement below, indicate whether it is true or false. Privacy risk management policies include remediation actions such as tagging and notifications. True. Privacy assessments in Priva require significant manual input to update documentation. False. Tracker scanning helps organizations ensure web privacy compliance by identifying tracking technologies. True. Microsoft Priva provides a disconnected set of tools for managing privacy across departments. False. Now let's explain each of these one by one. To begin with, privacy risk management policies in Microsoft Priva do more than just flag risks. They can automatically take remediation actions like tagging files, alerting content owners, or marking data as private. Meanwhile, the idea that privacy assessments require significant manual input is false because Priva is designed to reduce manual effort by automating much of the discovery and documentation process, streamlining compliance. When it comes to tracker scanning, this feature helps identify web trackers that may be collecting user data, which directly supports privacy compliance and simplifies reporting. Finally, Priva is not a disconnected group of tools. Instead, it offers a unified, integrated privacy platform, meaning the statement about it being disconnected is false. Each of these reflects how Microsoft Priva supports a smart, streamlined approach to privacy and compliance. How does Compliance Manager help prioritize compliance actions? Select one answer. A, by sorting tasks alphabetically. B, by associating a score with each improvement action based on its impact. C, by assigning random priorities to actions. D, by grouping actions by creation date. Let's walk through the explanation. Compliance Manager helps organizations focus on what matters most. The correct method it uses to prioritize actions is by assigning a score to each improvement action based on its impact. This way, actions with the greatest effect on your compliance posture are surfaced first. In contrast, sorting alphabetically offers no strategic value as it doesn't reflect urgency or relevance. Likewise, random priorities would defeat the purpose of a risk-based approach. Finally, grouping by creation date doesn't help either. Just because something was created earlier doesn't make it more important. So scoring based on impact gives structure and relevance to the compliance journey. A CIO wants to verify that when Microsoft collects diagnostic data from services, it's used to improve the customer's experience rather than to train advertising algorithms or generate user profiles. Which Microsoft privacy principle confirms this intent? Select one answer. A, transparency. B, security. C, no content-based targeting. D, benefits to you. Answer? D, benefits to you. Now let's walk through the explanation. The principle that best confirms this intent is benefits to you. Microsoft states that it collects diagnostic data to enhance features, resolve problems, and deliver a better user experience, not to train advertising systems or build user profiles. This aligns directly with the CIO's goal of ensuring customer data benefits the customer. Transparency refers to how clearly data practices are communicated, not why the data is used. Security relates to how data is protected rather than the intent behind collecting it. No content-based targeting assures users that their content won't be used for ads, but it doesn't reflect the purpose of diagnostic data collection. So the most fitting principle is D, benefits to you. A SOXI analyst detects an attack that started via email, then moved laterally into SharePoint to exfiltrate data. The analyst wants visibility across the entire kill chain from email to apps. Which integration will enable this full visibility? Select one answer. A, Cloud Discovery. B, Microsoft Defender XDR. C, App Governance. D, Security Copilot. Correct answer. B, Microsoft Defender XDR. Now, let's explain why this is correct. Microsoft Defender XDR integrates signals from various Microsoft services, including email, endpoints, and apps, into a unified incident timeline. This allows analysts to trace attacks as they progress through different stages, exactly what's needed for full kill chain visibility. In contrast, Cloud Discovery only highlights app usage without showing movement across vectors. App Governance monitors app behavior but doesn't provide kill chain analytics. Security Copilot offers guidance to analysts but depends on tools like XDR to supply the visibility data. Therefore, B, Microsoft Defender XDR is the right choice. Which communication platforms does Microsoft Purview Communication Compliance evaluate for potential policy violations? Select three answers. A, Microsoft Teams. B, Viva Engage. C, Outlook. D, Excel. Correct answers: A, Microsoft Teams. B, Viva Engage. C, Outlook. Now let's break it down for clarity. Microsoft Purview Communication Compliance is designed to help organizations detect policy violations across communication channels. It actively supports evaluating messages within Microsoft Teams, Viva Engage, formerly Yammer, and Outlook. These platforms are commonly used for internal and external business communication and are fully integrated into compliance monitoring. However, Excel is not used for message-based communication and therefore is not evaluated under this feature. It's a productivity tool, not a communication channel. So the correct choices are A, B, and C. Microsoft Teams, Viva Engage, and Outlook. What does the monitor step in communication compliance workflow involve? Select one answer. A, creating new compliance policies. B, running audit logs for system health. C, tracking compliance issues continuously. D, managing user account permissions. Correct answer C, tracking compliance issues continuously. Now let's explain this in context. The monitor step in the communication compliance workflow is designed specifically for ongoing tracking of compliance-related issues. This includes the use of dashboards, audit events, and exported logs to keep an eye on potential violations or risks and ensure an organization's compliance posture remains strong. On the other hand, creating new policies is part of the setup or configuration stage, not monitoring. Audit logs for system health fall under broader auditing and security tools, not communication compliance. Similarly, user account management is an administrative task handled elsewhere, like Microsoft 365 admin centers, not through the communication compliance workflow. Therefore, the correct answer is clearly C, tracking compliance issues continuously. Your company wants to allow business partners to access internal applications such as SharePoint and Teams using their own credentials. Which Microsoft Entra External ID feature best supports this goal? Select one answer. A, use SIAM to create new local accounts for each external partner. B, require each partner to register a personal Microsoft account. C, configure external ID B2B collaboration in a workforce tenant. D, enable device join for external business laptops. Correct answer, C, configure external ID B2B collaboration in a workforce tenant. Now let's explore why this is correct. B2B collaboration in a workforce tenant enables trusted external business partners to access internal applications securely using their own credentials. This ensures smooth collaboration while the organization still retains control over access policies and governance. In contrast, customer identity and access management is intended for external consumer apps, not business collaboration. Requiring a personal Microsoft account does not give the organization control over user lifecycle or policy enforcement. Finally, device join is about enrolling devices into management and has nothing to do with app access via identity federation. So the most secure and efficient solution is clearly C. Configure external ID B2B collaboration in a workforce tenant. Which private solution is designed to help minimize data stored unnecessarily by organizations? Select one answer. A, privacy risk management. B, consent management. C, subject rights requests. D, tracker scanning. Correct answer A, privacy risk management. Walk through why this is the correct choice. Privacy risk management includes tools and policies focused on data minimization, which helps identify and clean up outdated or unneeded data. This directly reduces unnecessary data storage by the organization. In contrast, consent management is about managing user consent. It tracks and records consent, but doesn't help reduce stored data. Subject rights requests are focused on enabling individuals to access or manage their personal data, not minimizing what is stored. Tracker scanning primarily addresses web compliance and cookie usage, not internal data retention. Therefore, the most relevant and accurate answer is A, privacy risk management. You're a security operator tasked with reviewing device activity and prioritizing endpoints based on risk levels, OS, and alerts. Which area of the Microsoft Defender portal should you use? Select one answer. A, incident queue. B, exposure insights. C, secure score. D, device inventory. Correct answer, D, device inventory. Now let's explain why this is the right answer. Device inventory provides the most direct visibility into endpoints by allowing you to filter and analyze devices based on domain, risk level, operating system, and activity. This is exactly what's needed when prioritizing endpoints. Secure Score only gives a high-level view of an organization's overall security posture and doesn't provide granular device-specific details. Exposure Insights helps assess posture but lacks in-depth device filtering, is more focused on viewing and triaging grouped security alerts, not evaluating individual endpoint activity. So to effectively monitor and prioritize endpoints by OS and risk level, the best area to use is D-device inventory. Match each Microsoft 365 subscription description to the correct subscription plan. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. Includes productivity tools for individuals and families outside of an organizational setting. Correct match Microsoft 365 for home. Provides tools and services for students, teachers, and academic institutions. Correct match Microsoft 365 education. Built to meet compliance needs of public sector organizations in the US. Correct match Microsoft 365 government. Offers collaboration and productivity tools for organizations with up to 300 users. Microsoft 365 for business. Delivers advanced security, compliance, and analytics for large enterprises. Correct match, Microsoft 365 Enterprise. Now, let's explain. Starting with Microsoft 365 for Home, it is intended for individuals and families, offering personal and family plans that provide essential productivity tools like Word and Excel without organizational management features. Next, Microsoft 365 Education is crafted specifically for academic settings and includes plans like A1, A3, and A5 for faculty and students, providing tools such as Teams for education and classroom collaboration. Meanwhile, Microsoft 365 Government is designed for public sector institutions in the US and addresses strict compliance and regulatory needs through specialized G3 and G5 plans. Furthermore, Microsoft 365 for Business serves small to medium-sized organizations with up to 300 users, offering plans like Business Basic, Standard, Premium, and Apps, enabling collaboration with manageable cost and scalability. Lastly, Microsoft 365 Enterprise targets large organizations with complex needs by offering robust security, compliance, and analytics through plans such as E3, E5, and F3. The options Microsoft 365 Developer and Microsoft 365 Nonprofit were listed but not used in this question, as they were not relevant to the descriptions provided. Where can users track the status of Microsoft 365 services that are publicly available to end users? Select one answer. A, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, B, the Microsoft Entra Health Dashboard, C, the Microsoft 365 Service Health Status page, D, the Microsoft Support Community. Now let's go ahead and explain why C is the correct match. The Microsoft 365 Service Health Status page is the publicly accessible tool that allows anyone, including end users, to view the current status of Microsoft 365 services. It shows whether services like Outlook, Teams, and SharePoint are running smoothly or experiencing issues. In contrast, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center is restricted to administrators, so regular users wouldn't have access to check service health from there. The Microsoft Entra Health Dashboard focuses on Azure AD-related services, which doesn't cover the entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem, making it an incomplete source for this need. As for the Microsoft Support Community, it's more of a forum where users ask and answer questions. It doesn't provide real-time updates on service health. So the correct match is clearly C, the Microsoft 365 Service Health Status page. Which two Microsoft 365 tools are best suited for appointment-based scheduling and management? Select two answers. A, Bookings, B, Planner, C, Forms, D, Excel. E, Outlook. Now let's go ahead and explain why A and E are the correct matches. Bookings is designed specifically for appointment-based scheduling. It provides a dedicated platform where organizations can create booking pages, manage available services, and allow customers or clients to book time slots. This makes it ideal for external-facing appointment management. Outlook, on the other hand, is widely used for managing personal and organizational calendars. It enables users to send, receive, and manage meeting invites, accept or decline appointments, and see availability, making it highly suitable for internal scheduling. Planner is primarily used for tracking tasks in a project or workflow, not for managing time-based appointments. Forms is great for collecting information, but it lacks scheduling features. While Excel can store dates and times, it doesn't offer native tools for scheduling or appointment logistics. Therefore, the correct matches are A, Bookings, and E, Outlook. Which of the following are additions available for Windows 365? Select two answers. A. Windows 365 Business, B. Azure Virtual Desktop Basic, C. Windows 365 Enterprise, D. Windows Server 2022. Now, let's explain why A and C are the correct matches. Windows 365 Business is designed for small to medium-sized organizations. It simplifies the setup process and is ideal for businesses that need cloud PCs with straightforward management. Windows 365 Enterprise, in contrast, is tailored for larger organizations that require advanced configuration, integration with Microsoft Endpoint Manager, and enterprise-grade identity and security features. Meanwhile, Azure Virtual Desktop Basic is not a version of Windows 365. It's a separate virtual desktop infrastructure service that requires more hands-on management. Similarly, Windows Server 2022 is a full-fledged server operating system and not an addition of Windows 365. So the correct matches are A, Windows 365 Business, and C, Windows 365 Enterprise. Your company is holding a large event with thousands of participants streaming live. You need a Teams feature that supports broadcasting and manages Q&A efficiently. Which feature is most appropriate? A, meetings, B, webinars, live events, D, chat. Correct answer, C, live events. Live events supports broadcasting to large audiences with controlled interactions and Q&A. It is designed specifically for scalable one-to-many communications, making it the best fit for events involving thousands of participants. Meetings are intended for smaller collaborative sessions. Webinars are suitable for medium-sized interactive groups, but they don't scale as effectively for very large broadcasts. Chat is a messaging tool and not designed for broadcasting. Match each customer scenario with the privacy principle that Microsoft applies to it. Each item may be used once, more than once, or not at all. A customer decides to delete all their stored personal data from Microsoft services. Control. A user is informed about subcontractors used to process their organization's data. Transparency. Microsoft refuses a government request that lacks a valid legal basis. Strong legal protections. Microsoft enhances malware protection through customer usage data. Benefits to you. A user's email content is never scanned for ad targeting. No content-based targeting. Microsoft protects files with multiple encryption layers during storage and transmission. Security. Now, let's explain each one in detail. Starting with control. When a customer decides to delete all their stored data, it reflects Microsoft's commitment to giving users full control over their personal data at any time. Moving to transparency. Being informed about subcontractors shows that Microsoft ensures users know who has access to their data, offering clear visibility into the processing chain. Next, when Microsoft rejects government data requests without legal basis, it falls under strong legal protections, showing that user data won't be handed over unless it's legally justified. Furthermore, when Microsoft uses customer data to improve malware protection, it's a direct benefit to you, as it enhances the product's effectiveness for the end user. Likewise, not scanning email content for ad targeting aligns with no content-based targeting, upholding privacy by avoiding the use of customer data for ads. Lastly, using multiple encryption layers during data transmission and storage ensures SHA security, protecting user information from unauthorized access, both at rest and in transit. This alignment of scenarios with privacy principles reveals how Microsoft's policies reinforce trust, security, and transparency across its services.